Thank you for logging on to agsiag.com. Spring is in the air, Craig Solberg, and we'll move from where we are today, which is in the office at the AGSI Solution Center, into Spring 15 and seeding. Now, every year we come across these issues where there's certain little things that guys can do and pay attention to that set themselves up for success if they were to look at them. You wanted to touch on a few today. What were they?
Well, I think it's around the middle of April, so there's lots of people, given the conditions in the field, talking about seeding peas as early as the end of this week or next week, followed by wheat and canola. So there's a whole bunch of things that we need to pay attention to. One little thing that a lot of people forget is seed that's in their bin has been in there all winter, and it might be still at 10 below zero. Peas especially are really sensitive, and so they need to be warmed up. I would not pay much attention to the field or the calendar. I would pay attention to soil temperature. And once we have a soil temperature that is giving us a good average of around 4 to 6 degrees, then we start to think about seeding. And depending on the seed source, we want to check for 1,000 kernel weight, so we know how heavy to seed a crop. We have canola. A lot of people ignore canola. We have canola in our sheds right now that are 3 grams per 1,000 kernels and 4.5 grams per 1,000 kernels. The numbers mean nothing except that one is 35% lighter than the other. Therefore, you don't have to seed it as heavy as you would the stuff that's at the heavier weight. So 1,000 kernel weight is important. We need to make sure we have a clean field, so burning that field off. And we also have to remember that herbicide rotation and resistance is a big deal. So adding something into our glyphosate is something that I would consider on every acre on my farm, because the resistance issue is coming quickly. So now we've got a burnt off field, we have our seed in place. Treatment. We have a fusarium issue amongst a whole bunch of other diseases that are creating tremendous problems in Western Canada, and I can't overemphasize the need for seed treatment. Seed shallow, go slow, and give that chance, that seed the best chance to germinate and get off to a good start. We'll probably talk in more detail about fertility in the next segment, but for now those would be some real key things to talk about. I did fail to mention in the burn-off process, water quality. We take that for granted, and there are lots of things that we can do to make the water quality much, much better.
For details specific to that, call your AGSI representative across Alberta, and they will go through your specific crop plan. Talk a little bit as well, Craig, about what Mother Nature has in a sense given us this year. What are we seeing, and what does that have the potential to do? I mean, obviously things can change, but as we stand right now, fairly dry. Any considerations that people can take into account as part of their plan as we head into spring?
Well, I actually, my experience in the field that I've had the last few weeks, I've heard lots of comments about it being dry, but the soil moisture is actually really good. And if we get that thing warmed up, we have lots of great opportunity. But if we're setting ourselves up for it to be drier than normal, we want to do everything that we possibly can to get that seed up and out of the ground and to be in a real healthy state. And that involves nutrition, that involves seeding depth, that involves speed, packing, nutrition. All of those things are critical, whether it's wet, dry, or just right.
So many pieces to the puzzle to consider, but that is why we're here, your how-to go-to people. Check back regularly, weekly, on agsiag.com for Critical 60 updates and input from the folks at Andruco Group and the Alberta Agricultural Landscape.